Bring, bring. Bring, bring. Crawford here. Oh, hello, Mr. Diefenbaker. What? You want me to destroy it? Millions of dollars were put into this, sir. Mr. Diefenbaker, you cannot be serious. What about the employees? Fire them? That's over 50,000 people, sir, including myself. All right, I understand. That was the last phone call Avro Canada would ever have. Or is it? Madame Chair, judges, officers, honored guests, and fellow cadets. I am Sgt Berg, and I'll be addressing two of Canada's greatest asked questions. What truly happened to the Avro Arrow? And is it time for a new one? In 1958, Avro Canada had the opportunity to lead the aerospace industry, not only in Canada, but in the world. Welcome the CF-105 Arrow. This impeccable machine was built as an intercept fighter with the main goal of, well, holding off pretty much anything Russian. But what made this plane so iconic to us? Well, it was made in Canada. This aircraft was built using a new type of metal called titanium alloy, which was only discovered back in 1940, and had the perfect weight-to-strength ratio on top of all other metals. On top of that, the Avro Arrow also came equipped with advanced electric flight controls, a new weapons guidance system, an aerodynamic, sleek design, and a newly built engine. Avro Canada took a risk, and this supersonic jet became superior to any other aircraft on the market. On March 25th, 1958, the first flight of the Avro Arrow took place. Engineers noted that this plane could fly nearly 2 times the speed of sound at an altitude of 60,000 feet. For example, Mach 1, or the speed of sound, was only achievable by jets of that era going into a dive, while the Avro Arrow could top speeds of Mach 1.98 without hindering its performance. So why was this juggernaut of an aircraft ever dismantled? Well, let me take you back to 1958. The Soviet Union was a source of contention for the United States. And, unfortunately for Canada, on May 12, 1958, NORAD was formed, which stands for North American Aerospace Defense Command. The whole point of this pact was, hey Canada, protect American airspaces. Hey America, protect Canadian airspaces. And I say unfortunately for Canada, because by 1959, the Avro Arrow had the world astonished. And the US wasn't too happy about it. Well, after 62 years of speculation and information, we have still yet to learn all that is of which is to know about the Avro Arrow. But what we do know is that it was a success, even having a second generation, 5 times more powerful than its predecessor. Now, it was said that while Canada was making history, the US had a $1 billion idea of their own. Welcome, the U-2 spy plane, built and produced by Lockheed Martin. The US counted on this to be the next big thing in aviation, but after learning about the Avro Arrow, they realized their plane wasn't going to take off. So, President Eisenhower had to think fast to save face. He threatened Canada, stating that if we did not destroy the Avro Arrow, if the Russians were ever to launch a missile over us, the US would destroy it, killing millions of Canadians. Well, less than a week later, Canada surrendered, and the US won. The Avro Arrow was no more. The end of an era. Of course, Prime Minister John Diefenbaker knew he could not let the public know the US was involved in the destruction of such an immaculate aircraft. So, in his next press conference, he stated that it was too costly for taxpayers, and we'd be better off buying planes from the United States. Hold on, everybody. Mr. Diefenbaker needs to make a phone call. Hello, Mr. Eisenhower. This is John Diefenbaker. All taken care of, the Avro Arrow is no more. Will you concur you'll hold up your end of the deal? It's a go. Having that said, is it time for a new Avro Arrow? Well, the unfortunate truth is, is it would be too costly for taxpayers to recreate an Avro Arrow 62 years ahead of its time. We also don't have the power, funding, or technology to ever compete with the US or other leading countries. Pretty much our engineers went to NASA. What's all that about, eh? To conclude, I have a true story. My father once worked for Bristol Aerospace in Winnipeg, and around 30 years ago, he met an engineer who worked on the Avro Arrow. He recalled it as Black Friday, when the US government came in and destroyed all the Avro Arrows, burned everything to the ground. But one miracle did happen that day. One of the Avro Arrows was seen taking off down the runway, never to be seen again. And legend has it, it's still out there today. Mr. Chair.